Welcome to Airgun Extra, brought to you in association with Crackshot, the Southwest's premier airgun centre and ranges. There's a link to their website in the show description. Well, we were out hunting with it last week. This week, we've got a full review of the FX DRS Tactical. But before that, the rats are still piling onto the farm, and I'm out trying to hit them back. Right, well, you've just seen some of the action from my last visit to this farm, and as you'll have noticed, there are quite a few rats here. They were at the tail end of what has been a very wet and pretty cold winter, and that has just pushed a lot of rats in from the countryside. And even now we're getting into spring, there's not a lot of natural food around, so things like the animal feed here and the grain stores are still an absolute magnet to rats. So it's just starting to get dark. We've already seen a few rats on the move actually, so we're going to get kitted up and dig in, hopefully shoot a few more. Well, I said we'd had a very wet winter, and judging by what that sploshed into, you can see there's still quite a few puddles out in the yard. Now, in all honesty, I think the bulk of the rats tonight are going to be around the grain store, but there's quite a lot of machinery parked in there tonight, and it's just made it too cramped and confined for the two of us to work and film in there. So I've picked a spot that gives us a pretty good view of the yard and the route that a lot of those rats will be using to access the grain store. And what I might do later on is maybe head into the grain store on my own, and if I do get a few shots in there, we'll put those clips, we'll edit them in at the end. It's interesting that most of the shots have been in that general area so far. quick word about the kit. Same as the last time we were ratting here. I'm using the DNT Thermnight, and it's the TNC335 model. And I've just been so impressed with it. I mean, in all honesty, it's capable of so much more than rat shooting and certainly longer range work, but it is absolutely excelling at this. Now, the beauty of this optic is that it combines night vision for that clear, precise view for aiming, but you've also got thermal that makes quick and easy work of spotting. Now, you can even either switch between them or have both at the same time simultaneously using picture-in-picture. To be honest, I'm not really having to use the thermal for spotting tonight because there are so many rats about, but one thing that is invaluable is the laser rangefinder and ballistic calculator. It's surprising how much hold over and hold under you need to apply over these relatively short ranges, and with a press of the button, the ballistic calculator is giving me that secondary or that correct aim point, and it's just putting me bang on the shots. Ammo wise, I'm using JTS dead center pellets. This gun gets on really well with them. Sub 12 .22 caliber, it's shooting them accurately, and as you'll hopefully have seen, it's delivering really nice clean kills. The gun being the Kral Puncher K. Again, it's the same gun as I was using when we were ratting here a few weeks ago. It's hard to believe that you can pick this up for well under £400. It's a nice looking gun, it's a reliable gun, and again, it's making straightforward work of these rats tonight, so you really couldn't ask for more. Another one from actually in the barn there. Now, it's probably worth mentioning that I'm not using bait spots tonight, which I often do. Sometimes I'll use maybe breadcrumbs or even rat jam to persuade rats to stop and linger out in clear areas where I can get unobstructed shots at them. But unusually the rats here are quite bold and tend not to be in much of a hurry, which is actually quite surprising when you consider the amount of shooting pressure that they've been exposed to. Anyway, let's get back on them. Well, there's another one. And the Kral Puncher K DNT Thermnight combo really isn't missing a beat tonight. Now, as I've already said, I've just been so impressed with the DNT Thermnight. There isn't time to talk about all of its features here and now, but if you want to find out more about it, do take a look at the Scott Country website. One thing I will point out actually is that my trusty fold-up backpack stool collapsed the last time I was here, luckily not on camera. But I've had to bring in my jack pipe bucket seat tonight, and it has just been so comfortable. I felt absolutely spoilt. So that may become a regular part of my ratting kit, as well as the seat that it usually serves as when I'm out decoying with the shotgun. I'm going to let Nicky get going now. He needs to go, and to be fair to him, it is absolutely freezing. But I'm going to stick around for a while, hopefully shoot a few more rats, and maybe even head into the grain store too. And if I do get some more, we will edit those clips onto the end. Another brilliant session with the DNT Thermnight there. Right then, if you want a chance to win a 2-day shooting experience with our very own Rich Saunders, check out the Airgun Extra Facebook page. Full details are there. Okay then, so next up we've got a review of the FX DRS Tactical. Right, here's an airgun that a lot of people are talking about right now. It's the FX DRS Tactical. They're styled very much along AR-15 lines. This is a gun that's been designed for functionality. So much so that it actually comes supplied without the buttstock to give you the choice of whatever you want to fit it with. So, without that buttstock, it retails for around £830. I think the concept of selling a modular airgun like this without the buttstock is a very good idea because it doesn't leave you stuck with a stock that you don't want. Now there are 500, 600 and 700 millimeter barrel options. This is the 500 and as supplied it weighs just 2.3 kilos and overall length is 660 millimeters. Now I've fitted it with a pretty standard buttstock. That's taken the weight up to 2.7 kilos and set with quite a long length of pull. Overall length is now 960 millimeters. As I've already implied, being able to choose your own buttstock makes for a really versatile platform. And it gives you folding options and even the choice of different colours. Don't forget though that you will also need the tube on which the buttstock rides and the castle nut that fastens that tube to the gun. Now obviously the DRS Tactical is really going to appeal to shooters that like this military type styling.
Now, the build quality seems to be really tough, and the finish and engineering are exceptionally neat. There's no missing the fact that the DRS Tactical has a full-length Picatinny scope rail. Now, I don't think it has any MOA built into it, but do correct me if I'm wrong. Now, with more than 450 millimeters of clamping space, this rail is going to accommodate pretty much any optic that you want. And because it rides over the magazine, you don't need to worry about that mag getting in the way of your scope or mounts. So the fore end incorporates a 250mm long Arca rail. There are MLOK slots in the underside, and you've also got sling attachment points. Now, this arrangement gives you a lot of options for accessory attachment, and also that fairly square profile should make for a really secure hold in a standard tripod clamp. It also happens to feel surprisingly good in the hand. The DRS Tactical comes fitted with FX's UG1 grip, which I really like. It's nice and wide, so it really fills the palm, and it's been really thoughtfully sculpted to provide a very comfortable fit for left or right-handed shooters, and most importantly, it guides you instinctively to the trigger. I've already mentioned the 500, 600 and 700mm barrel options. Now, the two shorter versions, known as the Compact and Standard, come with the STX Superior barrel liner, and the longer 700mm option, known as the Sniper, has the STX Superior Heavy liner, making it more appropriate for slug shooting. All options of the barrel are fitted with a 1/2-inch UNF thread for silencer attachment. On the outside of the barrel is the wraparound air cylinder. Now, that gives you 210, 260 or 310 cc capacity depending on barrel length. Maximum fill pressure is 230 bar, although you can upgrade to a carbon fibre cylinder with a maximum fill pressure of 250 bar, which will obviously give you a higher shot capacity. Now, that wraparound air cylinder is a very distinctive feature, as is the plenum, which is incorporated into what looks like a box magazine. The DRS Tactical is fitted with an AMP Mark II regulator, which makes for very consistent shooting. Now, this is a sub 12 model in 177 caliber. It's doing 11.6 foot-pounds, and consistency is remaining within 5 feet per second over a 10-shot string. Now, there is no regulator gauge. The gauge on the left-hand side of the stock shows the pressure in the main cylinder. Running at sub 12 foot-pounds with the 500mm barrel and standard cylinder, you can expect more than 200 shots per fill in 177 caliber and around 250 in 22. When it is time to refill, you simply need to plug in with the supplied probe. The DRS Tactical is supplied with one magazine which holds 16 shots in 177 caliber, 14 in 22 and 12 in .25. Now, it's an easy to load, pellet friendly magazine which also has the length to hold longer slugs. Now, that mag is driven by a familiar looking FX side lever which incorporates a drop down handle. Now, although it can't be reversed for left-handers, it is a very dependable mechanism which has delivered fast, reliable reloading during my weeks of testing. I am incredibly fussy about triggers, and I think the one on this airgun is excellent. The blade can be adjusted up and down, forwards and backwards, and also for angle. It's a completely new design and I really like it. Now, this is a 2-stage adjustable unit, but as most of you will know, I like to test triggers straight out of the box, and this one was near perfect. First stage weight and travel were just right. They concluded in a really positive stop, and that was followed by a very crisp and utterly creep-free second stage break. The safety catch is brilliantly positioned and nice and positive, but I am still getting used to it because its positions are the opposite way around from what they are on my FX Panthera. So with this one, you flick it down so that the arrow is pointing upwards to make it safe, and then you flick it up so that the arrow is facing forwards when you're ready to take the shot. I have a DRS Classic of my own, so I had high expectations when it came to accuracy. I knew that this airgun would warrant fitting a decent optic, so I've paired it with an Element Optics Helix scope, and that has made for not only a great looking combo, but also very precise shooting. The flat underside of the DRS Tactical makes it incredibly stable on the bench, and in windless conditions, it was comfortably single holing at 30 meters, consistently producing ragged single hole groups at 40 meters, and as long as I did my bit, groups were remaining sub 20 millimeters at 50 meters. So that is the FX DRS Tactical. If you like your airguns to be functionally styled, it looks the business, and it also happens to be a great performer. It's another winner for the DRS platform, which delivers awesome performance at a sensible price. Now, I've been using a sub 12 model with pellets, but with high power versions capable of around 85 foot-pounds, it should also prove to be very popular with long-range slug slingers. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for this week, but we'll be back with more in a fortnight. Thanks again to Crackshot. Check out their link in the show description, and also thanks to you for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And as I said, if you fancy entering that competition to win a 2-day shooting experience with Rich Saunders, check out the Airgun Extra Facebook page. So I'm back again in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, enjoy your shooting and stay safe.
The Great British Shooting Show, held on the 13th to the 15th of February 2026 at the NEC Birmingham. Book tickets online at shootingshow.co.uk.